Hi everybody, it's Sean from GoPart.com. We're here today with this 2006 Toyota Corolla. We're going to show you how to change out the power window regulator and the motor. It is inside the door frame, so we do have to take off the door panel. Really common for your regulator to give out. You can usually tell if it's your motor, you'll start to hear it kind of grind. But it is a fairly simple repair. It may look like a lot, which might scare some people off, but it is really easy, provided that you know the steps. I apologize for the sunglasses. It's a little bright out here. Don't want you to think I'm trying to be too cool for school here. Just makes it a little easier for me to see all the parts and the paneling and everything. But so either way, whenever we're through the process of this repair, tools that we're going to need. I have a 10mm socket ratchet, a small extension. The extension may or may not be necessary, but either way, it's on there. I have a Phillips screwdriver. This is a ratcheting screwdriver. It's not necessary for yours to be ratcheting. It's just personal preference there. Small flat blade screwdriver. Some painter's tape. You can use any kind of tape. I prefer painter's tape because it doesn't leave too much residue on the window pane, but you'll see how we use that. And then the right tool for the job is a door panel clip tool. This is going to be to help you disengage all the retaining clips that line the back of the door panel. You can get by with a putty knife, maybe even a flat blade screwdriver. Those of you that opt for the screwdriver, I do at least want to caution you, make sure that you don't damage your panel. Anytime you're doing one of these repairs, obviously you want to do it without breaking anything, but if you are going to damage something, make sure it's the clips and not the panel. The clips are literally, dime a dozen. You can go to any parts store and get a bag of them, for just a couple of bucks. So those are pretty easy to replace. So just be careful with your panel. So again, we're going to show you how to take off the panel, and then we're going to show you how to secure your window pane and remove and install your power window regulator. So first things first, small flat blade screwdriver. We're going to pry and we're going to lift the door rest, or the armrest here. Just a couple of clips hold it on. Pops right off. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing for our power window switch. Pry and lift the power window switch, same kind of clips. There are two wiring harnesses on the underside. One for your power door lock switch, and one for your window switch. So you use your little flat blade screwdriver to push down the tab. They should pull free pretty easily. Sometimes they can give you a bit of a hard time, but usually with a little bit of oomph you can get them undone there. And then our power window switch is free. Now, with the small flat blade screwdriver, open up the little screw cover inside the interior door handle. You'll find a Phillips screw there. There are also two Phillips screws that were exposed by removing the armrest. Ours is actually missing one. Hopefully yours isn't. Shouldn't be too big of a deal. So we'll go ahead and loosen and remove those three Phillips screws. Okay, now I had already pried and removed this small panel here. We have the upgraded speaker. Your vehicle may not. It doesn't really make too much of a difference, but you just use the flat blade screwdriver to pry and remove it. Now, with those screws removed, what we're going to do is we're going to give it a tug. Sometimes with these you don't really need the door panel clip tool. As you saw, mine just sort of popped right off. So what we do then is we pop those free, and then you can lift the door panel right off the door frame here. You'll see that there's a small lip here. Oh, looks like we lost our little pull cup there, so we'll have to remedy that. But either way, you see this small lip. That's going to hang right on the door panel, so we'll lift and remove that. Okay, now door panel off. We want to get to the power window regulator. There's a couple things we have to do before we can. There's a small metal plate here held in by 3 Phillips screws. I'm going to go ahead and loosen and remove those screws, and then we can take that plate off. So with that plate off, you want to go ahead and you can see the bolts that hold the regulator in. Now, in order to reach the bolts necessary to separate the window from the regulator rail, we're going to want the window to be about 3/4 of the way open, maybe 2/3, so that way you can easily access those. If your regulator isn't working, you should be able to move the window pane with your hands, but ours is working. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier is I am actually going to connect my power window switch. And what that will allow me to do is it'll allow me to move the window up and down. See how it moves up and down there? Honestly, I'm thinking this is probably where you want it. That way you can access it through this hole here. So we'll go ahead and leave it where it's at right there. 10mm socket and ratchet. What we're going to do is we're going to loosen up these 2 bolts that hold the window the window pane to the regulator rail. Okay, go. Now you're going to carefully separate the window pane from the regulator. You see sort of these little tabs here. Those separate right off. Okay. Push the regulator back slightly, and then what you can do, you can raise the window to the closed position, and that's what we use the painter's tape for. That's how we'll secure the window. screw. Just want to make sure it's not going anywhere, that it won't slam down on you. Go ahead and get this out of the way, just gives me order to work. Now, with the window separated from the regulator, what you'll do is you're going to loosen and remove, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like 6 screws that hold the regulator and the motor assembly in place. So what we'll do is, this one screw here, there's a cluster of 4, the one in the upper right, you only want to loosen it because that's your hanging screw. And what that does is that allows you to hang the new regulator in place while you tighten up the other screws. So we'll go ahead and loosen up those 6 10mm bolts. Now, with 5 of them out and the one hanging screw loosened, you can lift it, and then you can slide and remove your regulator from the door panel. Now, I'm not going to take ours all the way out because we've already got it undone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like this is our brand new one because there's nothing wrong with ours. And you use that hanging screw that you've attached to your new regulator, and you hang the regulator assembly on the door frame. You want to be careful because it is sort of a scissor sort of style and you don't want to cut your hands. But you can sort of come around and hang it into place like that. Okay? And what that's going to do is that's going to hold the regulator's position while you're getting everything else out in order. And one thing I forgot to mention before you remove the power window regulator, you are going to want to disconnect your power window motor. It's right here, it's just a tab, and then you can go ahead and pull the entire assembly out. So you reconnect your power window motor. You can reconnect it now. Might be a little easier to reconnect it after you've tightened it down. But what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start tightening start putting the regulator back in place. That's what these 2 bolts here are. Kind of swung on me there. Now these 2 tabs, so you can see the tabs, they're on the rail that goes into the door. There, one just popped through there, other one there. So now we'll go ahead and start tightening these. Get them hand tight first, then we can go ahead and tighten them down later. Getting them hand tight first allows you to kind of get everything in place. Remember, there's 6 10mm bolts in all, so you want to go ahead and make sure. Also, something worth noting, whenever you're putting them back in, there was also the 10mm bolts that hold the window pane to the regulator rail. Those are a little different. They have kind of an indention. These, your vehicle may or may not have them. They're flat, and they have a number 8 on them. Just so that way you make sure that you're putting the right bolts back in the right places as you're putting everything back together. It's always good practice. And now we're ready to go ahead and reattach the window pane. Now with our regulator now mounted and our motor plugged in, now what we have to do is we want to carefully lower the window down onto the regulator rail. You can see that I've got it positioned to easily access the two 10mm bolts that we're going to secure it to the rail with. So we can go ahead and take off our painter's tape. And remember, you want to hang on to it. You want to be careful here. Don't worry about getting your window dirty. It's a lot easier to clean a window than it is to replace one. So we'll go ahead and slowly slide it down. And then what we'll do is we'll position the rail in order to get the window down on top of it. Okay, now with that in place, go ahead and tighten the 10mm screws. They're going to hold that regulator. Now this one is a little difficult to reach. We're going to take a chance here. What we're going to do is we're going to put it on our 10mm socket ratchet. We're going to see if we can't get it in there without dropping it down inside the door. Now what you want to do is we'll go ahead and plug our window switch back in. Turn the battery on. Plug our window switch back in. Turn it off first. Battery on. And you can see the window's working great. Okay. So now from here what we'll do is we'll reattach the door panel, and then we'll be all set. So before we reattach the door panel, we were doing some work inside the door. Maybe that was what you were watching for, maybe it wasn't. Either way, we're going to go ahead and reattach this metal protective plate here. It's just 3 Phillips screws. So we can kind of get them in sort of hand tight. Don't have to over tighten it, just get it enough there to keep it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and reattach the door panel. We'll go ahead and you want to make sure that you feed the wiring harnesses through the opening in the door there. And then we'll hang the panel over the lip there. It should fit right down on top. There we go. Pull your harnesses through. Kind of want those where you can easily access them, and you want to be firm, not too firm. You want to re-engage those retaining clips on the back, so those will all pop right back into place. Okay, and that's what's going to secure everything there. Reattach our little trim panel. There's little hooks here that you want to make sure get down inside there. That snaps right into place. Tighten the Phillips screw inside the interior door handle. going on over there in a little bit. Okay. To reattach power window switch, what we're going to do is you just simply snap both of the plugs back into place. Snap both those in. Put that down. Snap that into place in a moment. Pop on your armrest, and you're all set.